Oh.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Sound of sleigh
That's
bells
it.
in the background.
Yes.
The sound of bells. Is that your energetic
Yes.
intro?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
You've got that after dinner kind of.
That's
kind of.
lethargy.
Yes.
No,
You should
no.
have.
That's the rundown mother after Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and Christmas lunch cookings. It's it's like running a marathon.
Like run over.
All the ladies out there know what I'm talking about. It's like running a marathon.
All the ladies in the house.
It's not over yet, ladies, because we have to tidy up all those toys that we got for our kids and that Santa brought. And we have to clean the sheets and stuff.
Was here.
And then we're going to stress over the leftovers in the fridge for the next 4 days.
And cheer. That's a good thing.
And they need to get eaten.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing. It's just like it's a funny thing. It's a funny. As little as you try to do it. I mean, I was trying to do it little this year, right?
Do it little.
As little as you try to do it.
Do it little. Is that the title of your next book?
Yes. Like do little. Only it's do it little.
Do it little. Keep it small.
Yes.
Simplify. Oh, yeah.
So I was trying to do it little, but it doesn't happen. I mean, it always happens to be bigger than you plan. No?
Explain. Explain this. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make like only two types of cookies, right? So that we have a choice of dessert after lunch. Yeah. And I wasn't doing a Christmas cake, a Christmas pudding, the mincemeat pies, and pavlova, and 3 types of gingerbread. Okay.
That would be slightly too much for a small family.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I didn't do a turkey that needs to be baked for 6 hours and braised regularly and stuff.
And basted, whatever that means.
Yes. So, I kept it simple. I made a very simple dinner yesterday, and I made a very simple lunch that wasn't much different from what we sometimes have on Sunday. No, I mean, it was just chicken with roast veg.
I like the sort of help yourself to things kind of deal where you can.
We had a help yourself to things thing going on the table where people could just choose their own stuff. And we had the head of the family cutting the roast. Slicing? What's the right?
Yeah. That you described it as if it were done neatly and in an organized fashion. It was more like hacking at it.
Head of the family ripping the chicken apart.
Yes. Poor chicken.
Yeah. So it was quite simple, right? And we did just a few prezzies, and it was all very simple and yet and yet
still complicated.
Yet organizing it and doing it so that everything is tidy when we get to eat was like climbing an Everest for me.
Yeah. The kids are demanding about their food as well because they're.
Yeah, when you've got 3 people at the same time going, I want potatoes with ketchup. Please, may I have some chicken? Please, may I have some this and that?
I don't want that. I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
And then 2 seconds later, I'm really hungry.
Like, oh, I baked this very special breakfast food for you that is traditional for Christmas. Oh, can I have a slice? Well, actually, I don't want it. And we're both like, oh, wow, that looks great. Actually, I'm not hungry. And they left. They're still full after yesterday's food. And they didn't really eat much yesterday. They just ate the cookies.
The cookies. It's the cookies that do it.
Yeah.
It's the cookies that create the problem.
Yeah.
The little in-between snack thing.
It's not a problem. It's just Christmas.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just Christmas.
Charlie Brown.
What?
Charlie Brown, you're the only person who can take something as positive as Christmas and make a problem out of it. So that's what they just said. And I thought it's just like, gee.
What?
The only thing that can take something as nice as Christmas and make a problem out of it.
Ding dong.
Exactly.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Or in this case here.
Why aren't you? I've got one question for you.
Only
I
one.
have to make sure that Mike stays where he belongs.
Mike.
Because he left me last time when we were recording.
Mike drifted away.
Yeah, I had some complaints that I wasn't audible enough.
Yeah.
I know that everybody
who doesn't
wants to
want
hear
to not
me.
hear you?
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to say, why
Merry Christmas.
aren't you wearing your new T-shirt? One of the two.
T-shirts.
Well, you can't wear both of them at the same
Well,
time.
one looked
right?
like it was designed by a blind man. And not that I've got anything against blind people, of course.
Okay, shouldn't send T-shirts.
it's unless they've got a lot of practice.
That's true.
And the other one was a picture of the Loch Ness monster.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, you couldn't see the monster though,
No, because it was black on black.
black on a black T-shirt. Like, what is the point of that?
That was so
Yeah.
funny though, because it was like inconspicuous. I
No,
only
no,
come
no, none of
because
the
the
T-shirts
Loch
made
Ness
sense.
monster only comes out at night, right? So you can't see it anyway. Why do I pronounce it like an English person?
Do you? Well, how did you?
I just said
pronounce
Loch Ness instead of Loch Ness.
Because
This
you
is pathetic.
get the right.
I can get the right. We've got a in Slovak language.
Loch, moch, toch,
Froch.
goch. That's the entire Scottish language. That's
My Scottish is getting better and
that's
better.
all of the sounds that exist in pure Scots.
Dunbroch.
That's from Brave, isn't it?
Yes.
It's from Brave. Oh, she'll be. No, I can't do that. I can't do the accent.
It's quite good, actually. That one word was quite good.
I could do one word. That was it then. That was it.
Sounded like it, though.
Mm.
Oh, look. That's your face.
What?
Oh, it's gone.
My face.
It's gone.
This is
G's
my
face was on the telly.
What?
Your face was on the telly.
That's your face.
Lucy made your face.
What?
Lucy made your face.
You remind me of Lucy sometimes. I don't know why.
Me? I'm the nicest person in the universe.
That's why. That's exactly why you remind me of her. Thank you for reminding me.
Right.
That's genius. That's genius. Was Santa good to you?
Oh, yeah. Santa was great to me. Santa brought me some nicks.
Nick.
Yes.
Nick brought
Nick
old
brought
Saint
me
Nick.
some nicks.
Old Saint Nick.
And a hat. Why am I not wearing it? I should be wearing my
That's-
hat.
That's a loss
I know.
if you don't wear the hat.
Zora, can you bring me my hat? My new red hat.
Do you know where it
It's
is?
in a hat basket. So, Zora's on a different planet.
Along with Jazz, who has passed out on the couch after.
Nobody's going to help me today. Oh well.
Well, it's not like she's doing anything important or worthwhile over there.
Oh, but she just sat down there about a half an hour ago.
Now, I wonder who she gets that phrase from.
I just sat down. I use that with them, absolutely. Yes.
She gets that from you.
Because when I run around all that, and then I sit down, and then suddenly somebody says, "Mommy, please, can you do this or that or whatever?" Then I say, "I just sat down. Can you please go and get it yourself?" And they usually can.
That's what she just did to you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm busy, and they usually can.
Who are you? I'm Mummy. I'm busy.
Nope.
That's the way it goes.
So hey,
Zora, be a dear and go pick up Mummy's hat from the hat basket. She's not working
it's not
for me
going
now.
to be a deer.
No, she's not.
Will would be a deer. I just
Hey,
don't want to abuse
Give me the
his.
Christmas napkin.
Oh, that's my dress up.
What?
It's a dress up.
Why are you not wearing that? It looks like your tongue's hanging out.
It's my beard. This is my Santa dress
Claus,
up.
the Santa Claus napkin.
Yeah.
For those listening to the podcast, Yanka is holding a Santa Claus napkin up to her
I'll show
head.
you like this. Oh.
Well, then your shoulders are under your nose.
Mike probably didn't pick up what I was saying.
Look, that's how it should be worn.
No, it just looks like your neck. Doesn't look like your beard.
It's not a beard. Is that his beard?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you think it was? A
I
cleavage?
don't know. I never thought about it. I didn't think. I didn't. That's weird. Takes off. I thought it was funny yesterday when I was like, "Well, you're touching his bum." He's like, "Oh, he doesn't have a bum. It's just on both sides." Oh. Scary moon star. Anyway.
So
What's
what's the topic today? What are we going to talk about when it comes to parenting? Are we going to talk about the kids' disappointment today?
the kids' disappointment? Yes, let's talk about the kids' disappointment.
The
That's
kids
a real topic.
The kids were disappointed today because Santa didn't bring them what they wrote in the letter because he couldn't fit it in his bag and in his budget probably either.
Yeah, another name for Santa's bag is his budget.
Yeah. So yeah, they
couldn't budget. They couldn't budget. Da, da, da.
So they ran out of their room in the morning and they started to look for the bikes, right?
The bikes.
And the football table. It was quite obvious that they're not there under the Christmas tree, right? As it would be, because they would be quite big if they were there.
There'd be no room for the Christmas tree.
So they thought, oh, maybe they just didn't fit. So they started running around the flat and looked outside and just, they weren't there. So they were quite disappointed, weren't they?
Yeah, which, leads to the point is, should they or should they not be disappointed? And this sort of, the expectation that you can ask for everything or anything and get it just like that is inherently wrong.
That's true. That you should just
There's a great lesson
they're
to
not
be learned
just
from
getting it. They take it as they've earned it for being good.
Yeah, but they earn something kind of every day for being good because, good things come to good people.
Yeah, I know that. But that's the legend, isn't it? I mean, that's the general understanding that if you're nice, Santa will bring you shit.
That's your third book. Okay. Be nice and you'll get shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. That's great. That's wonderful.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the general idea behind it, right? That if you work hard, you get shit. It's not wrong, right? Only Santa doesn't bring it. You kind of create it yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's not about what other people give to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like a metaphor, right? It's like a
metaphor
for life. But if you're nice, if you work hard, if you're helpful, then you'll get it, hopefully.
Yeah, well, you have to be intelligent about it.
Well, yeah, obviously. You can't just walk around, give out stuff, and not getting anything back, obviously.
Well,
we're not making anything.
It's not about what you do, it's about how you do it.
Yeah.
It's about the reasons for doing it and doing it in the right way.
Yeah. So
What was that?
There's a lot of discussion out there between the mothers of the world when it comes to Santa. Is he real? Is he not real? Should he be real? Or should he not be real? And stuff like that.
That's the way I'm trying to process what you just said there. Oh, right. Is that like SWOT analysis?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it.
There's the real Santa.
Reasons,
there's the unreal
right?
Santa. There's the real unreal Santa, and then there's the.
But the question is, should we write to Santa and let him bring our presents, or should we just give presents to each other at Christmas? That's the basic dichotomy, right? That's the basic.
No, you missed the point.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we give anything at all?
Because it's the time of giving. I mean, it's about thinking about somebody and then give them something, whether it's a thing or your time or your effort about something.
No. It's got nothing to do with giving presents at all. Nothing. It's a celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Which is
Fuck all to do
celebrated.
with giving presents.
Which is celebrated by being generous to each other.
Yes, and I
Traditionally.
would say that
This tradition comes from the 3 wise men who brought presents to Jesus Christ, right? That's why in Spain, Christmas is celebrated on the 6th of
well,
January.
if you're going to celebrate it exactly
Right.
like that, they should do it about 2 or 3 years after. Because that's when they arrived, right?
Yeah, we celebrate Christmas every year, so...
Yeah, well, the whole idea of giving, so for a lot of people what it means, not for everyone, for a lot of people what it means is spending money you don't have on things that people don't need.
And that is why we talked about
that
it
in the last
last
podcast,
time when we
sorry.
talked about it, if you remember. That is why it is a good idea to choose to give time instead of things, because children don't remember those things. They remember the time they have either with those things or with their families. Like getting them a Lego, right? They're not going
Can I
to
make a point?
remember
Please.
getting the Lego. They will
Please,
remember
can I make a
building
point?
it with you. Yes.
It's not that children don't remember the things. It's that they place a higher value of importance on the things and the time. Because they do
The other way
remember-
around. They place the higher value on the time rather than the things. You
No, I'm talking about when they get the things. They place a high value on the things. When they get lots of things, they place high value on them until those things become more important. It's not that they forget about them.
No.
They don't forget about them. Look, I come from a background where my family didn't have very much time for me. And I got lots of things to replace that. I remember the things very well.
Yeah.
I remember all the things. And
I
that's the
don't remember anything.
And that's the problem, because
I remember one book once that I got. And you know me, I remember everything about my childhood, usually. But I don't remember any Christmas presents. I remember one book about horses that I got for Christmas.
You don't remember your Christmas presents?
No. My mom tells me about them. She says, oh, you wanted this doll and you wanted it so bad. It was so expensive, but we bought it for you and you were so happy about it. So I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Zora, can you put the chair back, because the board's going to fall over if you... No, Zora!
The other way.
Zora, don't touch the chair. Just leave the chair.
Thank you.
Don't
leave it
the
there.
Chair at all. Thank you. That's great.
So, no, I don't. Yeah, I remember lots of stuff from my childhood, I told you about. I remember all the skiing trips, and I remember the holidays, and I remember being at home, playing at home, spending time with people, but I do not, I remember visits to my grandparents and their birthdays, and I don't remember my Christmas presents, apart from that book about horses.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Well, look at you, right? You remember very little from your childhood. You remember very little about enjoyable experiences, but you remember your material things that you received. I mean, that's a bit of a exact opposite.
That's why I said, when you said they don't remember, it's not that they don't remember, it's that they remember the wrong things. They do remember.
So I remember the right things, you remember the wrong things.
I cannot define what is right or wrong in this situation.
Or maybe you placed higher value on the things because you were getting less time. Or I don't know.
Well, I placed higher value on the things because I had a misplaced value system. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I placed a lot of value on the things as well. I was as happy as any other kid about the things that I found under the Christmas tree. I just can't remember what they were. I remember the feeling. I remember I was excited. I remember I loved opening presents and getting new stuff. But I have no idea what, it's like in my memories, it'd be like me, Christmas tree, unwrapping, and then like nothing. Blank. Because it wasn't
really weird.
I don't know, but
isn't that like not remembering the end of the race?
It just shows you that it wasn't about what was in that present. It was all about the excitement and the expectations and the magic that this present magically appeared under the Christmas tree. I remember that. And the atmosphere just before the dinner ended, and the waiting for my grandfather to be finished with his fish because he always took so long. And we were all like, oh my God, he's going to eat forever. We're never going to get to open those presents. And yeah, I remember that, and I remember those conspiring looks across the kitchen table with my brother and my sister when grandfather was like, I think I'm going to have a little bit more salad.
Did he know what he was doing?
I don't think so. He was just really old. Okay, he's about 80. We're talking about 80 years old, and we're talking about carp. Carp has like 1 million little bones, right? So what he was doing, he was like operating on that carp with his cutlery, and he would never ever touch any food with his hands. Okay, he was a person with a high social status in his time because he was a teacher and then a director of a school. And in the Slovak village, back in the day, you had the teacher and the priest. Those were the highest respected people in the village. Everybody knew them, right? And he would always come dressed in his it's not tuxedo, what do you call it? Suit. Okay, he always came dressed in his suit, even if he came to visit during the year, not just for Christmas. But every time he went out of his house, of his village, if he went to town, he'd always wear a suit. It was very elegant. And yeah, he took pride in his appearance, is his status, is kind of, he was the intelligence of the village, basically. And he would never touch the food with his hands.
Doesn't sound very intelligent.
Why?
Because he didn't realize that what was important to the children was opening the presents, and he made them wait until he took all the bones out of his fish. That doesn't sound like a wise man to me.
What, finishing his dinner? It's not wise to finish your dinner.
Not according to the way that you described it earlier, which was that he was making a problem for...
Oh, it wasn't a problem. It was just that, we were all impatient. It wasn't a problem. It was just suspense, just prolonging the suspense a little bit, which wasn't a bad thing in the end, because it just made us more excited. And yeah, so we were always waiting for him to finish. And we'd look at each other and, roll our eyes disrespectfully, and just couldn't wait. And then he finished, and we would be so happy, and then we all went and opened the presents, and I have no idea what we got. But just the atmosphere was great.
Maybe because there was so much happening around about.
Maybe, yeah.
It's interesting because maybe you got something really nice, but you don't remember.
I'm sure I got nice things. I know that I got books because I loved books. I can't. Yeah, I've got like these general ideas of what. I remember I think the Backstreet Boys tape. Once I got that from my parents.
Torturous! Oh my God.
No, I really, really wanted it. I think I must have written a letter to Ježiško.
Ježiško, please can I have a cassette of the Backstreet Boys?
Yes.
Would love to see that later.
I had Backstreet Boys cassette. I had Spice Girls cassette.
Oh no!
I had some kind of a weird Sladyaki cassette.
Spice Girls? What do you have Spice Girls for?
If you want to be my lover. Hey. Shake your boobs.
Is that one of their songs?
Yeah. That's all of their songs. As far as I can remember.
Yeah, okay. I once saw an interview with them where they were boasting about how they were so proud of the fact they wrote their own songs and sang on their own record.
Oh, that's such a BS.
I know. That just says it all, right?
Yeah.
Just says it all.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them have a kid with Eddie Murphy? Oh, seriously.
In some kind of a comedy or...
No. Well, yes, their life, right?
Which one?
I think the black one.
Yeah? That's
boring. Rather logically.
That's just boring.
What is it? By some weird state of affairs that...
Obviously affairs.
Isn't that a weird kind of thing. Anyway, never mind.
To have a kid with Eddie Murphy. It would be weird for me.
For a Spice Girl to have a kid with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were friends first.
Why don't you ask them?
What?
If they were friends first, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I mean, what a weird thought to have. I wonder if they were friends first. I wonder if he was a gentleman.
If you're going to be my lover.
Oh, I just didn't get that. Okay. You know, when you think about it out of context, it's a really weird thing to say.
Yes, but when you think about anything out of context, everything is weird. Don't think about it out of context. Oh my God.
Okay. I didn't get that context. I'm sorry.
You know, if we were standing at the North Pole, that would be a weird thing to say. Yes, but we're not.
Oh, my favorite out of context thing is in Frozen, right? I was watching Frozen with the girls, and there was one line, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, if you didn't know the context, that would be really weird, right?
Like half of kids' cartoons are just little jokes. No?
Yes. That's when that snowman was running, and his body got separated from his bottom, and his bottom was running away, and he shouted, "Grab my butt!"
By his bottom, you mean his legs?
Yes. No, the bottom ball.
The bottom part of the snowman, okay.
And he shouted, "Grab my butt!" Or somebody grab my butt. And when they did, he said, "Oh, that's better." I was thinking, if you didn't watch that, it'd just be really disturbing.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of indirect suggestion in children's cartoons.
I know there are adults' jokes in children's yes.
I wasn't impressed with Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
What was that?
I
haven't watched that.
You were busy kitchening.
I was cooking the Christmas Eve food.
And so I found a little Olaf cartoon and put it on for the kids. And you know, I had to take something really good and really funny and dismantle it piece by piece.
Did they overdo it? No.
It was as if the script was
written by an 8-year-old.
Written by a newsreader. Same thing. And
an 8-year-old newsreader.
Yeah. The 8-year-old would probably have more coherence in their writing.
It'd certainly be funny. I can tell you that much.
It just missed the mark completely. The animation was great, but the text was all weird.
Anyway, how about your Christmases? Give me what you remember from your Christmas.
What, today?
No. From your childhood.
Today, childhood. Let's see. Yeah, I've got like thousands of images flashing through my mind. I have to, filter them.
No, we don't want that unfiltered reality.
Unfiltered reality.
To let my hair dry.
A lot of impatience. Bacon sandwiches for breakfast.
Oh yeah, your parents do that, don't they? Bacon sandwiches.
Big Christmas tree, lots of decorations, presents under the Christmas tree, classic style.
You did the stockings as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, Christmas stockings with little gifts in them. My parents must have invested a lot of money in the Christmas thing. I was thinking the other day, because we watched a couple of movies where people were decorating their Christmas tree, which is it's like one of those things that you have to have in each Christmas movie.
Yeah.
You have to have people
decorating the Christmas tree. Yeah.
We saw the neighbors decorating.
Yeah, we did through the kitchen window. You could see somebody wrestling with the lights. It's quite funny.
As you do. So, I remember there was one or two boxes of decorations.
Mm-hmm.
And we always had exactly the same decorations.
Mm-hmm.
Like they never. It's like in 20 years
we did as well.
They never changed. It was always get the same old decorations out and hang them on. The funny thing is I would always wonder where all the decorations came from, because they were always there. Right? We never like bought them or anything at any point in time.
We did exactly the same thing, actually. It was exactly the same with us. And I was thinking about this just this year, I was thinking, where did my mother originally get those decorations? Because we had a lot of them. We had those classic glass baubles that were really fragile, and you had to handle them with care. We had like all old birds that were like glass birds with these weird, it's like a, what do you call it, bristles. We had like a tail, but it was like plastic kind of strings, or I don't know how to say it. So it's like a tail that was hanging off the bird. That was nice.
Birds have tails, yes.
Yeah, and you kind of clipped it on the Christmas tree, and we had the, they were all shiny, like bauble material, and we had this like a nice decorational thing that you stick on top, and we had these weird plastic white snowflakes, and you had like one snowflake, the other snowflake, and you turned it like this, and it fitted in together. So it had like 4 sides to it, and then you just threw it at the tree, and because they were intricate snowflakes, they would just hold on to the tree as you threw them. That was fun. And we would always hang salonki. What do you call them?
What?
What you call salonki? Salonki is like little chocolates in the tinsel wrapper kind of thing.
We call them little chocolates in wrappers, I think.
And you hang them in a very special way, right? You had a piece of string.
Christmas chocolate decoration.
Yeah, you had a piece of string, and you hung one on one side and the other on the other, and then you put them on like that, like in pairs. You hang off in pairs.
Okay.
And these decorations got lost. These decorations.
Wait, Christmas? You lost the Christmas decorations?
Well, what happened when we moved out of the flat? Me, my mother, and my sister moved out of the flat, right? We left the Christmas decorations there. So when we moved out in the house, we had to buy new decorations to decorate our tree. And
this is basically the same as what we did. Right?
The original decorations that we had stayed in the flat with my father and my brother, right? Okay. But then my father got married, moved out. My brother sold the flat, moved somewhere. I think he maybe took the original decorations with him, but then when he moved to Spain, obviously he didn't take them, left them in the flat. He sold that flat.
Flat for sale with Christmas decorations.
Yeah, and those decorations are gone, right?
Long gone.
And it's such a huge part of the Christmas tradition. I would be so happy if I had like one of those original decorations, because it's the, when you look at it and you remember, oh my gosh, I remember hanging this up on the tree when I was a kid. It's just, if I have one of those horrible birds with these plastic tails, I would be like really happy. But they're all gone. And
Is it like a plastic tail that you could clip onto the tree or something?
No. The bird was the bauble material, right?
Okay.
And at the end of it, it had like, imagine toothbrush bristles, but longer.
Okay.
Right? And a huge bunch of them just hanging out of the tail. So they were like, and softer than toothbrush bristles. So we used to play with them as kids. We would be like, yeah, it's nice material. It's very sensory, satisfying.
Yeah. And you're thinking about Christmas. So my parents had this house, and where they have Christmas now is downstairs in the downstairs living room, and the bank, as they call it, the bank. And of course, that wasn't always there. That room was redesigned. Probably when I left home.
Oh, so you didn't use it when you were a kid?
No,
that was like closed off, or?
It was the games room.
Oh, of course.
It was the games room for snooker and pool and darts and music and scale electrics and parties and.
Of course.
Probably other things that I've forgotten about.
Your parents organized techno parties there.
No, my parents were very conservative about who was allowed to visit. If it wasn't family, of course.
Right.
Because they had their reputation to maintain.
Absolutely.
And as upstanding members of the community, certain people were not allowed.
Of course.
Certain of my friends were not allowed.
Of course.
There we
Well,
go.
I don't know. I know somebody else who says that it is very important, you know, who you spend your time with and who's around about you. So I see a slight similarity there. Maybe different point of view, but
Yeah, my parents never really explained to me why, though. It was just that
okay.
people were not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in fact, actually, I can tell you why. Because my mother's position in the local educational establishment, that was why I was told that it would be difficult for her if.
I can hear her voice when you said that.
Yes. Yes, we don't want these problems when we can avoid them. All right, okay. So like maybe once a year I could have somebody around that maybe they were not extremely approving of. All about status in society, you know. To hang out with the right people. So that was interesting. And the thing is, right? Here's the thing, that you don't get invited to other people's places
if you don't invite
if
them.
you don't invite them to your place.
I get it.
It's there's an unspoken thing there.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really invite anybody, which meant that when other people had events, I was not invited to their events because, yeah, outsider. Not that it really bothers me. Not that I can even remember, to be honest. But it's in there. It's in the grey matter somewhere. I'm digging it out of there. I have to do some journaling about that. I'm quite sure. It's kind of interesting area to go to. I haven't thought about that too much before. So yeah, I guess the Christmas tree was upstairs in the upstairs lounge.
Okay.
Before that.
You had a huge Christmas tree. Did you have the same one that your parents still have?
But it's a real tree.
Yeah?
My parents always have real trees.
Oh. Okay. Tells you from my observational skills.
Have you always had the same tree? No, they get a new tree every year.
Yeah,
I
thought they had a plastic one. That's just... Never mind. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, the needles don't drop off the plastic ones.
No?
You might have noticed.
Sometimes they do.
There's needles on the carpet. No.
You're right, though. I remember the needles. Yeah.
How the mind plays tricks on you.
Mine does quite often.
Bad 70s furniture that they hadn't got rid of.
Yeah, I know which type you mean.
Everything brown and red, but not bright red, sort of dull red, and the yellow that wasn't yellow. You know, this 70s thing, 1970s fashion.
Yeah, it's like a burgundy red and mustardy yellow and dark brown. And...
Yes. All of the colors like
blend.
Winter gone wrong. all of the bad blends of things.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we had Christmas upstairs originally.
We had it in our kids' room. We had a Christmas tree in the kids' room because it was the biggest room.
Right. I almost always I pretty much got whatever I wanted.
Yeah?
And I don't like that.
Well, you don't now. I'm pretty sure you did when you were a kid.
I don't know. I mean, look, you like it when people give you ice cream, but you don't kind of realize that it's not good for you, right? So,
I almost never got what I wanted. Maybe that's why I don't remember it.
You said you got books and you liked books.
Yeah, but I always wanted something super expensive for Christmas, like, you know, I want a new...
Like a bicycle.
Whatever, I want a camera or whatever, you know.
Computer.
And I was
or
like thinking,
car.
oh, maybe, never happened. Sometimes, well, very occasionally it did. Like, I remember once I asked to get Walkman, and I got a Walkman.
I had a Walkman as well, but I think it was all kind of marketing at the time, because you were supposed to be able to use them while you were jogging.
Yeah.
They would always speed up and slow down.
Yeah,
Every time you
never jogged.
You shuggled it around.
I only wanted Walkman for one thing and one thing only.
Your Spice Girls music.
So that I can listen to Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls without my brother coming and turning it off for me, or laughing at me, or just whatever. It's like finally it was like my own space. Like, I have a bit of my own space kind of thing in this flat. It was good. It's important for a teenager to have something like that.
My parents bought me a tape recorder when I was about 14, and it was actually a tape recorder.
Yeah.
It's speaker, space to put in a cassette, and then the 5 buttons at the front.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
And of course, everything sounded the same when you played it through that.
Yeah.
It all sounded like it was being played.
And you had like the beginnings of the songs cut off because you didn't press the red button fast enough, and at the end you would have a little bit of what the person was saying because you didn't press the stop button
like
fast
if you
enough.
recorded off the radio or something like that. Oh yeah. We used to exchange tapes at school, and all the beginning and end were missing from all of the songs because you had to cut off what the DJ.
I remember I would have a tape in a recorder, like permanently, just there, and whenever something was going on the radio, I would just
you'd hear the first few notes running. I used to have to hit play and record at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I'd hit one.
It's really hard on the thing that I had. It's really hard to press them. It was this old grey. We had 2 cassettes, hey man, so that I could actually borrow a tape and then retape it.
You don't see people today when they talk about file sharing and stuff. You don't see people complaining about that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was terrible when you had double cassette decks. Oh my God, you could copy stuff. It's like
you could record stuff from the radio.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Pirates.
And
pirates.
People now are like, no, you can't share this stuff. It's like, well, everybody grew up sharing stuff.
Exactly, it's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Oh my.
Yeah, nobody had a problem with recording stuff off radio.
Christmas dinner, the dining room, which I always thought should have been a library, but my parents had no room for quality reading materials.
It kind of doubles as a library because it's got those 2 bookshelves at the back.
Yeah, full of Frederick Forsyth novels and
cookbooks.
Cookbooks that are never used, and
because the ones that are used are in the kitchen.
Looks at the pictures.
Uh-huh.
I don't think
you've got the encyclopedia there, no? So it's like
there's the children's encyclopedia, and
isn't there a lot of books of encyclopedia something?
Yeah, there's a children's encyclopedia.
Okay,
that's what's there. It's a classic though. It's like 1940s.
It's more books though. No, it's not just one book, is it?
Yeah, it's like 12 big volumes of information. Very beautifully organized. Really nice. And then they've got some other stuff which is kind of silly and pointless. Of magazines that my parents had subscriptions to, like Mind Alive, I remember was one of them.
Yeah. What was that about?
It was supposed to be things that were stimulating and fascinating and interesting. And I remember I would always open it looking for things that were stimulating, fascinating, and interesting, and never find anything at all. And then, what else was there? There must have been something else. I think my father had a subscription to some home hobbies, do-it-yourself magazine.
My grandfather, the one that I told you about, had a subscription to a Czech magazine because it was Czechoslovakia before, and then he just kept the subscription on. And he would put volumes together, and had them bound in a book. And
nice.
And he got, it was called People and Earth. And it
sounds interesting.
It was interesting. It was like geography, facts, and maybe some history. I don't know exactly, because when I was a kid, it's boring, right? You like go through the magazines, like boring stuff. Okay, put it away. But I'd like to go back to those if my mother still has them.
You know what are the most interesting magazines in the world?
No.
Magazines for old people. I'm not joking.
Mm-hmm.
The magazines for kids are just full of shit.
Well,
right?
obviously.
Just cartoons, games, and this brain teasers and not funny jokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But magazines for old people, they try to do something, because like by the time you get to being old, you're picky as fuck, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you're not gonna pay attention to something if there's not something really important, and they're not going to interview somebody who doesn't have something important to say.
Yeah, or intelligent.
You're expected to put across something with your life's experience.
Mm.
And so my parents over the last couple of years had subscriptions to, I'm not sure if they had subscriptions or these things just arrived at the door because they got so many adverts in them.
Yeah.
Maybe they distribute them for free and just charge people for the adverts. And fascinating to read about people's lives and what they're doing. It's all people who are active between like the age of 50 and 70 in what they're doing.
Mm.
That's interesting.
I was thinking when we were talking to Roger Domagalski the other day, and
interview online.
Yeah, check out the interview. It's interesting. And he said,
"Have you done any promotion for it?"
Not yet, no, because we decided we're going to wait until this week.
Yes, it's this week now.
Okay, good to know.
It's Monday today.
Oh, it's Christmas for me. Anyway, so so what was interesting was when he was saying,
push in the right direction.
He was saying, "Oh my God, when I was 30, I was so stupid." He said, "Wait until you're 70, right?" It's like when you're 70, you know so much more than you knew when you were 30. And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I can't wait."
Whoa, darling, get the stool. Get the plants. Get the chair from here. Oh no, you can't get the chair.
Get a kitchen chair.
Get a kitchen chair. Yeah. And take it over to the tree and stand on the kitchen chair.
Yeah, and make sure you don't fall.
I put her angel on the tree.
Ah, okay.
And she wants the angel off the tree.
You mean the Tinkerbell fairy?
The fairy. It's not an angel, it's a fairy. Okay.
I've noticed that you English-speaking people mix those two up.
Well,
you call angels fairies. Seriously, you do.
Do we?
And you just mixed it up the other way around. Yeah, you do. It's like, let's put the fairy on the tree, and it's the angel actually, but you call it a fairy. You haven't noticed?
Well, it's not such a big difference as calling me English.
Yeah, it's the English-speaking people.
Oh, okay.
Not English.
I thought it was you English-speaking people.
No. Anyway, because I wasn't sure whether it's localized, whether it's a British thing or American thing or Scottish thing.
You have to lift it up, darling. You have to pull it up. It's hanging on that part of it. Pull the branch down and lift the fairy up. Can't believe I'm saying that.
So, so he was like, "Oh, well, when you're 30, you're so stupid." I'm thinking, I'm 30, and I already feel like I was so stupid when I was 20, and I know so much more now. And I'm thinking, I can't wait, to be 70 and to know so much more than I know now. I was thinking, this is, yes, darling, because sometimes people get depressed around the age of like 30 or 40, thinking, "Oh my God, now I'm just going to get old and I'm just going to get worse and worse." And I'm actually thinking, I'm going to get more and more experienced, hopefully intelligent, I'm thinking, it's a good thing. It's like when you're a kid and you're looking forward to growing up. You can still look forward to be further than you are in the future. I think it's a very positive thing. That's a very positive thing that I got from the interview. So watch the interview.
Yeah, like I said, when I got to the end of the interview, I was not pleased with the way that it had gone because
technical
of the
problems
thing that happened, because people think that they can do what I ask them not to do and it's okay. Question mark.
I think that was more like a exclamation mark.
Yeah, it was whatever. Some kind of
mark.
Some kind of mark, yeah. And then when I went back and listened to it again, you're so focused on the interview when you do the interview that you miss most of what's happening. That's why I record most of my sessions now.
I don't. You do, because you are focusing on the technical side of things. You're focusing on whether all the microphones are working. You're focusing on the sound. I don't have to focus.
And I'm doing the presentation, and I'm focusing on the logical order of the questions, and I'm looking at the time.
What I'm focusing on is just what the person is saying. So I don't have to watch again, because I get quite a lot from the first, happening kind of thing.
Yeah, and the kids running around as well.
Well, yeah, of course.
Which is another issue.
That's what I focus on.
So like they say like you can't do multitasking is impossible. Well,
it's inevitable sometimes.
It doesn't always create a good result, but you end up doing that at certain periods of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I went back and listened to it again, even the starts, like in the first 5 minutes, he says stuff that I didn't pick up on the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I didn't pick up on the fact he said that. And so the little things here and there, just a sentence here and there makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's well worth diving into that again.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to interview my father,
mm-hmm.
And asked him many times. Many times. I must be about 15, 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
No. Not interested in leaving something behind.
What did you say? He doesn't want to do it, or?
Can't get anything from him. Okay, what is that? Don't speak bear. What does that mean? It's like it's not difficult. All you have to do is say yes or no. Right. So
well, you know how it is with your dad. You have to push him to it.
Yeah,
push him to do it.
But if you have to push someone to
not push him, you have to organize him. You have to tell him, when do you have time today? Will you have time between 4 and 5 o'clock? Yes. Okay. Can you sit with me in the bank to do this today between 4 and 5?
Doesn't have to. No. It's. Oh yeah, I get.
You have to do that.
I thought you meant like to be in the same physical space, but no. I guess you're just talking about him being anywhere. Okay, so that he can sit at a computer.
Just whatever. I mean, obviously it's easier when you're in the same physical space, but as you're not, then you would have to get your mother probably to help set up the connection.
I am just so fucking pissed off that something which is definitely with anybody with a sane fucking mind knows that this is a good thing to do and should be done, except him. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows that you should leave something behind for your grandchildren so that they've got something to hold on to about who you are and what you did. And he's just not prepared to do it. It's a disgrace. And everybody knows it's a good thing to do, because you have to be a complete fucking idiot to think that, to actually think, I'm not going to leave anything behind. Right? I mean, you do have to be a complete idiot to have that perspective. Oh, well, I just don't, I don't.
I could organize it for you if you wanted to do it. But it would have to happen before 5 o'clock in the evening.
It would have to happen before he dies.
That too.
I mean, but
if you're interested, I will organize it for you.
The onus is on him. I have, like, when you go to someone and ask someone something 20 times, it's like, and they don't get the idea that this might be important. I mean, they're obviously, you begin to wonder if there's anything inside their head at all.
If you still want it, I can organize it for you.
It's not about me anymore. You know me, I'll do something a number of times, and then if it doesn't happen, I'm going to move on to something else, right?
That means that you don't want to do it anymore. It means you've given up on that idea.
Not my fault, not my problem anymore. I haven't given up on it. I have got so many other things that I can spend my valuable time on, and I have given that project a lot of time. I'm not going to chase something that doesn't want to doesn't want to cooperate, right? A situation, a person. I'm not going to chase someone who doesn't want to cooperate. I'm just not. I mean, it's either you want to cooperate and it'll be good, or you don't and fuck off. Right? I mean, that's what is the point? I mean, then otherwise the point is just to chase. And I'm far too intelligent enough to chase people to do things that they don't want to do.
I'm far too intelligent enough.
Yes, I am.
It's a strange construction.
That's a strange situation. It is. It's just it's a certain level of sadness connected to it, but it's their choice, right? It's their choice, and as I've pointed out many times before, people have these choices to make every single day, right? Mm-hmm. And if your son comes to you and says, "Dad, this is kind of important. I'd like to do this with you."
This is bored.
And you don't get a point you don't get the point. You don't get any point. You don't get anything from what is said. I mean, you got to have a screw loose when it happens again and again and again, right? If it was just a one-off situation, you might catch the person at the wrong time. But I'm not that. I'm well aware of what I'm doing. So it's obviously much more important for these people to down a whole bottle of whiskey than it is to leave a legacy. So it's sad that the world is full of people like that. But that's the world we live in, right? People are what they are as a result of the choices that they make.
Good rant. Rant over.
Rant on. Put that in your pipe and smoke
rant over.
It. Right.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And God bless us, everyone.
Just toasting with a glass of water.
I just toasted. I love a good toast.
You're all right.
I'm punning.
What?
I'm sorry. You just.
Put some.
You just short-circuited my brain with your rant.
Well, that's because it's true, right? That's because it hits the nail on the head or strikes a nerve or does something. Because we all know that. We all know the contradiction. We all know what the right thing is to do, but doing it is complex. So we understand that complexity exists. But when I look to older people, look to them for knowledge, for wisdom, for direction, for mentorship, for coaching, for all the things I have never received from my family. So luckily the internet now exists, so we can go on the internet and we can find a lot of people who are prepared to share their knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the world.
Your family and people can only share.
Talk over the top of me.
Yes. Okay. Your family or older people in general can only share the knowledge that they have with you. Your father has shared a lot of experiences with me, okay? But it's not in the area of my interest. That doesn't mean that it can be valuable for somebody else.
What's the fundamental rule of conversation? What's rule one in conversation?
You have to have the same topic.
No. Okay. Every time Will comes to me, I always say to him the same thing. You've heard me say it many times. What is the first rule of conversation?
Listen, I know, okay? But that's not my point.
What is the first rule of conversation?
That is not my point. My point is he can talk to you about things that interest you, but he doesn't know much about them. He knows about other stuff that doesn't interest you. That means that's why.
How are you going to pick up a girl in life if you can't talk to her about what she wants to talk about?
He doesn't need to pick up a girl. He's got your mother. He's not
yes,
going
but
to.
that's a life skill. What I'm
But,
saying is, I'm not saying he should have a partner. I'm saying that that's a basic life
Of
skill.
course,
You
he's
can't
not
get anywhere
going to
without it.
teach you any lessons in the area that you're interested in, because that's not his area of his interest. I mean, he can tell you,
What's
so
the
teach you.
first rule of
He
conversation?
can teach you a lot about butchering if you're interested in butchering, right? But you're
Butchering the
not.
conversation.
I mean, you want coaching and advice and wisdom and knowledge in areas in which he cannot give them to you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have that. It doesn't mean that other people your age wouldn't maybe look up to him for information or for knowledge. It just means that you personally and him personally just don't, it just doesn't click, because it's not the same areas. That's why you look up to somebody else and somebody else looks up to your father.
It's the parent's job to make the connection. And the first rule of conversation, I'm going to get this in here so it's recorded, right?
Okay.
The first rule of conversation is you talk to other people about what their interests are, not your interests.
Yes, but if he doesn't...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't know anything about it. You're not going to learn anything if you don't take that step. That's why he doesn't know anything, because he's never taken that step. Don't you see that? You're saying he can't take that step because he doesn't know anything. The reason why he doesn't know anything is because he's never taken that step. Don't you see that? Don't you see that? It's not, oh, this happened because of this. It's not that. It's he made a choice, and that's why he doesn't know. He made a choice to be ignorant. He made a choice not to make that step.
He's not ignorant in general. He's only ignorant in the area in which you need someone to look up to.
No, he's ignorant in important areas. That's not true. Human communication is a very important way. Human communication is an essential skill. Sorry, that's what I want to say. It's an essential skill. So ignorance in that area is a massive problem. If you want your family and your children to develop properly, then as a parent, you need to understand what good communication skills are, and you need to present these sets of communication skills to your children. And if you don't know them, you better fucking learn them, because that's your job as a parent. If you don't know them, you're not doing your job as a parent. It doesn't matter if you turn around and say, oh, I don't know that. It's like, well, how much fucking time do you need, right? How important is it to you? Where is it on your value system, right? And if it's not appearing as a skill in their life, they don't have it as a high priority in their value system. Maybe they don't value it at all. And if it's something important, my God, that's a problem.
Listen, he has different priorities than you have. End of story. End of story.
Yeah, but we can all agree there are practically good priorities and completely pointless, irrelevant priorities, right? I mean, let's take an example. Like, let's say, let's take a random thing. How to swing a golf club, right? It's not really that important in a life skill, okay?
Well,
right?
That swinging a golf club was never about life skills. It was about relaxation.
Yeah, it was
a
about
hobby,
killing time.
Yeah,
your
you
hobbies
can
come after you've done everything else.
You can call
your
hobbies killing
come
time.
After your responsibilities.
I call it self-care.
Your hobbies come after your responsibilities.
No.
Yes.
No.
You've got to fulfill your responsibilities first.
No, your hobbies come at the same time, because if you want to live, if you want to survive as a mentally sane person, right, you have to balance. You have to balance the work and the rest. You cannot have, the work comes first and the rest comes second. You have to have them both at the same time. You have to sleep every day, right? You don't just go, sleep comes after work, so I'm going to work for the first 20 years until I'm rich. It's the same with hobbies. It's the same with meeting friends and talking to friends.
Activities that kill time, like collecting little Star Wars figures, or
it's not pointless if it works for you.
But it doesn't work for most people. That's the point. It doesn't actually work. it doesn't do anything except kill time and waste time for most people.
Is being out in the fresh air a good thing? Is sport a good thing?
Never said that it wasn't. I've never said that those two things weren't.
Why is it different? How is it different? Your father playing golf and you going swimming
I
or
wasn't
jogging.
talking about my father playing golf.
You were talking about swinging a golf club as a life skill.
That was a random choice.
Well, I wonder where it came from. Think about it.
Well, it came from a talk that I heard about somebody talking about coaching. That's where it came from. A talk that I listened to.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not.
You are telling me here that hobby comes after you have done all of your work, after you've achieved all of your basic skills.
No, I said that's not what I said. You can listen back and hear what I said.
Okay, so what did you say?
Because you're building a false argument if you say that. I said the hobbies come after the responsibilities.
And I'm saying that they come at the same time. Yes, of course, I am going to work first and then spend time having a hobby, right? But I cannot push my hobby away 20 years just to get where I want to be.
You might have to. It doesn't matter what you want.
Listen, I tried. I know what I'm talking about. Why do you go, oh, okay, if we talk about swinging a golf club, okay. Why do you go swimming every day? Or every other day, or whatever? How many times in the week? 3 times a week? 4 times a week?
I swim on average 3 times a week.
Okay. Why do you go swimming?
Sometimes less. It's meditation. It allows me to think and organize my thoughts and to plan my day. That's what I do. I don't just go swimming to.
That's not meditation, by the way. It's the opposite of meditation.
Well, I think there are different definitions of meditation. Your definition of meditation is different from my definition of meditation. Yeah?
Because what you defined was actual mental work, not meditation. Yeah,
this idea of the fact that you can clear all the stuff out of your head. I think that there's a whole negative aspect to that people don't really understand. You know, you're blocking rather than dealing with things. You're not really living in the moment.
And you still don't know what is a meditation.
Well, I've given presentations on meditation, so
meditation
you
is
can
not
go to my
about
YouTube page
things.
and you can find the presentations on meditation.
Meditation is about letting things flow and focusing on.
Yeah, well, I've never said that it wasn't. I agree with.
Well, you just said it's about blocking things.
Some kinds of meditation are.
It's not about getting everything out of your head and blocking it out.
No, but you see. This is what people don't understand, and I'll try to explain it to you, right? Remember that what you've been told, what you've been sold, it's not really what it is, right? People say that atheism is not a belief system, but
no, who says that? Nobody says that. That's stupid. When you're agnostic, you don't have a belief. When you're atheist, you believe that God doesn't exist.
Yeah, but even agnosticism is a belief itself. Agnosticism itself is a belief. You can't escape that because they're all belief systems.
How is that a belief system? How is agnosticism a belief system? What do agnostics believe?
Well, you tell me. I can answer that, but that's not going to help you.
Agnostics don't believe anything. They just admit that they don't know what's there.
That's a belief.
It's not a belief. It's an admission of reality.
It's a belief.
But it's not going to become a belief just because you repeat it.
Admission that you don't know something is to believe in a certain perspective.
No. That's just pointing out a fact. It's just pointing. If I tell you that I don't know how much is 355 times 62, I don't believe something. I'm just saying the fact. I don't know the answer to this. How is that a belief?
I'm not sure how that relates to the principle of agnosticism.
It's exactly the same thing. Agnostics just don't know. They don't know if there's a God, if there's not a God, if nature is built with a bigger purpose or not. They don't have an idea, and they say that out loud. We have no fucking clue.
Well, that's
agnosticism.
That's a choice to believe that certain facts mean nothing. That's what that is.
What facts mean nothing? What do you mean facts mean nothing?
That the basis of other people's belief systems. So you have to believe that other people believe.
You don't believe they believe, you know they believe. Belief is being certain about something, right? Even though you can't prove it. That's what belief is. I'm certain God doesn't exist, even though I can't prove it. I'm an atheist. I'm pretty sure that God does exist and that Jesus is his son. I'm a Christian.
So you're saying agnostics believe in nothing?
Agnostics have no freaking clue. They don't believe any of these higher philosophies about the world because they admit that they don't know.
Then that's a belief system. That's the definition of a belief system.
What's the definition of belief system?
You just said agnostics don't believe. You just said it. You can listen to the recording back again. You just said it.
I know what I said, but how is that a definition of belief system if the belief is missing? That's an unbelief system.
To not believe is still belief. So that's what you can't escape. That's a fact. It's a fundamental fact.
No, you're not making any sense.
I'm making perfect sense. To not believe is still a belief system.
How? What am I believing in as
an agnostic? You just said it. You just said it.
What am I believing in as an agnostic?
You just said that agnostics choose to believe.
No, I said agnostics choose not to believe.
Still a belief system.
But what do
Whether you choose to believe...
Okay, say I'm an agnostic.
Okay, wait.
What am I believing in?
I didn't finish my sentence.
Well, then finish it.
Whether you choose to believe or not believe, it is still belief. You can't escape it.
I'm sick of your double talk. It's a double speak. I'm sick of your double speak. How can a belief, and how can a lack of belief be a belief?
By definition.
It's like telling you that this is a cake.
It's a hand.
It's not a cake. It's nothing on my hand. It's air. Obviously, it's not a cake. If I don't have a belief in my head, you can't call it a belief because it's not a belief. It's air. It's nothing in my head. Okay?
There's nothing.
Fuck you.
There's nothing.
There is no freaking cake. Okay? You can't call this a cake system because there's no cake. Oh, there's no cake. It's still a cake system because of the lack of the cake. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, let me try it another way. Belief is unescapable. It's a fundamental human habit.
Okay, cake is unescapable as well. I agree with that.
See, you have to agree with me.
No, I still think that you
think. You see, that's not a fact then. That's a belief. So you just skipped.
Oh, for Christ's sake! I love it. I love it when you say think is nothing. Think doesn't count. Think is not a fact. Think is what your freaking brain does all the time.
I didn't say all three of those things.
You always say them. I know you didn't say them now.
I said one.
I know you didn't say them now.
We're talking. How can we have a conversation when you refer to a different conversation in the middle of this conversation?
I refer to what you always repeat every time I say I think. You always go, think.
That's because it's important to know the difference. Right?
Oh, God. Sir, are you bored?
What would you like to do, darling?
Yeah, we should finish this and play with the kids. We're losing the daylight anyway.
We're losing it. It's gone. The sun has sunk. It's gone down. It's gone down.
The sun has sunk into the funk.
The sun has put his hat and coat on and
gone to sleep.
walked over the
This-
distant
I don't-
hills towards the eternally open public house of the horizon. Isn't
Right.
that a nice picture? No?
You're just yeah. Yeah. I think we should
That was your man.
wish Merry Christmas to everybody
You said that in a man's voice, you know that.
and go with. Excuse me.
You put on your man's voice.
I don't have a man's voice.
Yes, you do when it drops down below like that.
I don't have a man's voice.
Does mummy speak like a man sometimes? No,
See?
it's not fair.
See?
Girls against boys.
See?
Hmm.
Huh.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah.
Well,
I
Merry
think we should
That was it.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
That was it.
Should I have a moustache as well? No?
Why would that help you?
I don't know.
You've got one growing there a little bit.
Nah, it's probably just hot cocoa.
Oh. Hot cocoa, there's an idea.
We've got that special hot cocoa jar. Well, you have it.
Oh, the marshmallow test.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
now's the time to do the marshmallow test. Good. Right. I'm glad we sorted that out. Right.
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 Let's test it now.
That's a good idea,
You've been
Zara.
ordered to test it now. I agree. Okay. Wherever you are,
Have a very Merry Christmas. We wish a very nice Christmas to everybody, even to
tidings will
all
bring to you and
all our
your
friends who are watching this, and all our family who's watching this, and we didn't manage to get through today. So have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and be happy and happier. Any other?
Abracadabra, alakazam,
And
make them
Merry-
as happy as you
and,
can.
Zora is sending you love.
Heart. Oh,
Tiger.
that's nice. How do you do the heart thing with your hands? I can never do it. I always end up with a square.
That's because of this weird blockage in your mind that can't make a heart sign.
Well, I can't. That's binoculars. Oh, so like if I make binoculars and just stick my thumbs, that's
Yes,
it.
That's it.
Make binoculars and then just straighten your thumbs and you've got it.
Yeah. Or you can do like that.
That just looks weird.
Or like this.
You have to make your fingers down
It's an upside down triangle.
yourself.
It's not a heart. Okay, right. Duty done. We're going. Bye bye, everybody. Have a nice one.
Bye.